But guys, we have one more thing to do. I know this is a long stream today, and I'm throwing a lot of stuff out there. But please mount the like button if you appreciate the show so far. We've had our vegetables, and now we're going for dessert. Okay, is everyone ready for dessert? This is the last thing we're going to do today. Because we have a video that was posted last night by stepmom Deb Fillman. Stepmom Deb Fillman is best friends with James Lindsay. She runs a YouTube channel called The Reason We Learn. She rants all day, every day on Twitter about everyone that she disagrees with. Stepmom has also been a pain in my ass for several years. After she used my community to recruit people to fund her, and people did, Deb then decided to try to collude with other members of my community in order to steal my work and claim it as her own. And then I called her out on that shit. And then Deb proceeded to go on a 2+ year tirade about how I'm a horrible, evil person. And every time someone tried to work with me, Deb would slide into their DMs and say, if you don't denounce Carlin, then I'm going to denounce you and I'm going to destroy you. And and all the while that Deb was doing this, she was ranting and raving about me online, spreading smear campaign after smear campaign after smear campaign, and doing all this bullshit. So we like to keep an eye on Deb because I feel I've earned it. And by the way, Deb, Jeff Charles also says hello because a couple months ago when Deb was ranting about the fact that a 5-year-old black girl appeared in an ad for Target, and Deb said it was woke to have a 5-year-old black girl appear in an ad on Target. And then Black Twitter got a little pissed off at Deb because Deb was saying that it was like horrible and wrong for a 5-year-old black girl to appear in an ad for Target. And Black Twitter took offense to this. And then Deb went viral on Twitter to the tune of 5 million views before she privated her account for several days. In the course of that, Deb made an enemy of Jeff Charles, who is one of the coolest people on the internet, and everyone should follow Jeff Charles. Jeff Charles does a great job. Jeff Charles was like, this is bullshit, Deb. And then Deb got pissed off because Jeff Charles is black, and, you know, sometimes he likes to comment on things that are relevant to him. And Jeff Charles didn't like it at all that Deb was talking about the fact that Target shouldn't have a 5-year-old smiling black girl in their ads, because Deb sometimes is a little bit racist. Not racist in the way that the woke mean it. We're talking about like actual, like, Deb doesn't like black people. Deb also doesn't like Arabs. Deb doesn't like anyone that's not Jewish. If we're going to get brass tacks, Deb doesn't like anyone that's not Jewish and not a raging Zionist. That's who Deb likes. Because Deb is Jewish. Deb has the Israeli flag in her profile. Deb thinks that everyone who is not Jewish and does not support Israel is a raging anti-Semite. And so when Jeff Charles questioned her, Deb went off on him and blocked him on all this stuff and then complained about him on her channel, which the reason I'm bringing this up is it's kind of directly relevant to the subject of this video that Deb posted. Yeah. Deb doesn't like brown people. It's true. So when Deb posted this video last night called What is Cry Bullying? I was like, we have to react to this. We just have to. This is for fun. This is not for work. We've done our work. Now we're going to do fun. And let's see what Deb had to say about cry bullying and how we should perceive cry bullying and what to do about it. It's only 17 minutes long. It's relatively short. We've already been going almost 3 hours. I want to thank everyone who's hung in with me for this long. Let's see what Deb had to say.
Cry bullying is. Have you ever heard of this term? Well, I'm going to attempt to define it for you today and suggest to you, and hopefully some of you are teenagers watching this, why you shouldn't do it. And also to let you know that we're on to you. We see it. You're not fooling anybody. So if you think that, somehow it's not bullying, it is bullying. It is. Because the thing that I'm seeing about the cry bullying is that it's being done in this really twisted way where the people doing it are claiming to be virtuous, claiming that what they're doing is being the bigger people or being
So I am almost positive that this video is in response to Jack Posobiec calling James Lindsay woke right. Because what the premise that Deb is kind of working, so it is actually kind of relevant to the rest of the stuff we watched. The premise that Deb is working from is that James just wasn't doing anything wrong, and this evil Jack Posobiec came in and started making these claims, and now Jack Posobiec is being a cry bully because James obviously didn't do anything wrong, because she always has to be kissing James's ass, because that's the game that Deb plays.
the good people, and that people who use direct communication are mean. So anyway, what is cry bullying? So cry bullying is when you take a situation, a dispute, an argument, something that, you know, one person has with another person within a, you know, could be in a friend group, could be in a relationship, whatever. Usually it's in, you know, friend groups, okay? Because you have to have somebody to cry to, right? So you see this a lot with teenagers. There's a friend group, people they hang out with, etc. And maybe two of them have a dispute. They have a disagreement. Something goes on between them. And rather than resolving it directly,
exactly, cold water. That's exactly right.
Where, you know, drop it, or they decide we can't be friends anymore and they part.
Loud, pushy Karen is an excellent descriptor for stepmom Deb. And by the way, if you guys are ever interacting with Deb on Twitter, make sure you call her stepmom Deb Fillman. You have to say the whole thing. Deb just loves it. And the reason we call her stepmom is because several years ago, when Deb was harassing me every day on the internet, Deb's daughter ran away from home and begged to go live with her father because Deb just couldn't stand, or excuse me, Deb's daughter like hated Deb. And so she begged to go, she ran away, and then she was like begging to go live with her father because she didn't want to live with Deb anymore. And so as Deb was being a bitch on the internet, she was also complaining about the fact that her daughter ran away, and that she was like, you know, she didn't understand why this was happening. And I was like, I have some idea about why she might not like you. And then we started calling Deb stepmom, because instead of parenting her own children effectively, she was stepmothering the internet.
Ways, but directly say, we're never going to agree, and it's a relationship killer, so we can't be friends anymore. And then figuring out how you're going to split up the friend group, or how you're going to, you know, how that's going to go in some kind of direct way, letting people know we're not friends anymore. So what should we do? Okay, you know, but somebody has a dispute, and rather than keeping it between the people who had the dispute to either be resolved peacefully or parting ways, one of the two people decides, I'm going to triangulate. I'm going to try to drive a wedge between the person I'm having a dispute with and everybody else we're friends with by crying. Now, it doesn't have to involve literal tears. It could just be going and complaining and saying they hurt me. But the crying part is they play victim. And very, very often, it also involves something called DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse victim offender. So they either preempt.
When Deb and her friends are attacking everyone on the internet and shit-talking everyone on the internet and ignoring all facts and information, and what they do is they claim, you're Darvoing me, you're Darvoing me, you're Darvoing me. Darvo is like their favorite fucking thing. Except what they don't realize is they're the ones actually attacking. They're the ones Darvoing. The ironclad law of woke, anti-woke projection. And why I say woke, anti-woke is Deb claims to be anti-woke.
Go to the friend group and deny having done something they did, and say that the person they're having a dispute with attacked them. So-and-so attacked me. It was so mean. And she said these things, and out of the blue for no reason. I didn't do anything to deserve it. And she totally came to me. And they twist it around to where something maybe they did that sparked a conversation.
As a reminder, how I know Deb is that she came into my community for years. At least, well, no, I won't say, no, it was probably 2 years. She was in my community. I supported her work. I had her on my channel multiple times. The last conversation I had with Deb, I was actually saying, Deb, let me teach you how to package your offering so you can make money doing this stuff on the internet. And I have the DMs to prove this. I thought that Deb and I were friends. I had no beef with Deb until Deb decided to collude with 3 other people in my community to steal my work, claim it as their own, and cut me out of it entirely. And then I found out about it, and I was not happy about it because this is stuff that I had been working on for a year at that point. Reagan remembers this because she was there, and I called their asses out and I said, you're not stealing my shit, or you can try to steal my shit, but you're not going to be as good at it as I am. So go ahead, give it your best shot, and we'll see what happens. And then when I called them out publicly, they proceeded to privately message dozens of people in my community, lying about me, defaming me, trying to get people to leave my community and go and join Deb's community. There are people in this chat right now who got messages from Deb saying, Carlin did this, that, and the other thing. And it was all bullshit from the very start. And they shared those messages with me, which is how I know this happened. So Deb wants to pretend that she is the innocent victim of my aggression and that she's definitely not a crybaby, when Deb was the one that started all this shit in the first place. And now she runs around the internet. Yeah, Reagan was one of the people that got those private messages from them. Nick was one of the people who got those private messages from them. And then Deb ran around the internet. I'm a victim. 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 Carlin is so mean. Carlin is so awful. Please, Deb.
Between them and the other person turns into
exactly
crap. I might be held accountable for this really shitty thing that I did. I'm going to go to the rest of the friends and preempt.
But no, these assholes planted hit pieces on me all over the internet, painting me as the cry bully, when in fact they were the ones that fucked me over and then defamed me 19 ways from Sunday for years. But it all started when Deb colluded with other people in my community to steal my work. I found out about it. I called her ass on the carpet for it, and she had a massive fucking meltdown and started messaging lies to everyone. Exactly what she just defined as a cry bully, Deb did to me.
You know, and make it and put it back on them. So that's very common. It doesn't all crybullying doesn't always involve Darvo, but it's pretty common. But no matter, it involves one person in a dispute involving people who are not involved in the dispute, crying victim to them, and then trying to basically smear campaign or get the friend group on the cry bully side to reject the person they're in a dispute with.
And by the way, Deb was successful to a certain extent. Deb and Adrian and Justice and the narcissists that will not be named were successful to a certain extent. They did actually get a bunch of people to leave my community. Their goal was to destroy my work, to be very clear. However, because I'm more creative than them, and because the ideas originally came from me in the first place, and because I don't give a fuck, I just hunkered down and I started doing whatever I was going to do. And I built my platform, which is much larger than Deb's platform. And most of my community ended up sticking around because they knew what the deal was anyway. And so although they were successful in a certain extent and did absolutely cost me money and did absolutely defame me on the internet and had all these fucking hit pieces planted on me, ultimately I won. Because today, my platform is still bigger than all of them put together. My work is more impactful than all of them put together. And so the lesson that I want people to learn is never let bitches like this prevent you from doing what you want to do. Because they may be able to slow you down. They may be able to hurt you. They may be able to make life very inconvenient for a little while. But eventually, karma is going to bite them in the ass, and that's exactly what's happened. Justice is no longer on the internet at all. Adrian has not grown. Like, Adrian is talking to like 2 people on the internet every single day. The narcissist that will not be named, he pretends he's grown and he's doing all this stuff, and in fact, he's doing nothing. He's creating no content. He has no platform. The only person that he has interaction with is Deb, basically. And Deb has grown a little bit. Deb got involved with Moms for Liberty. Deb sucked James Lindsay's cock, figuratively, not literally. I don't think Deb would actually do that because Deb is a prudish bitch that would never do that. But she did ingratiate herself to him. So Deb has a little bit of a following. Deb has a small baby YouTube channel that gets less views on a video than I have live viewers on most days. But the moral of the story is that none of this paid off for them. And they didn't get me to shut up. And that's what you have to know if you ever find yourself in this type of situation with this type of person, which is fuck them, do whatever you want to do, and just persevere. Get through the storm. That's all you need to do. Get through the storm. It sucks going through the storm. It really, really sucks. But you just need to get to the other side. And when you get to the other side, you get your just desserts. Yup, Sin remembers. She also told people that if they followed me, she would ruin them. She told people that if they worked with me, she would ruin them. All that stuff. That all happened.
It cut them off, end the friendship, criticize them, pick on them, whatever. And it's very hard to detect sometimes because the nature of the communication is tears or like, I can't believe it, you guys. I'm so hurt.
Larkin Rose follows me on Twitter. I don't know that much about him, to be honest, but he does follow me.
This person did this to me, and it's out of nowhere. No context, no evidence. I'm being picked on. I'm being harassed. I'm being bullied. And the group is like, oh my God. We believe people. They come to us. They complain about things. We believe them. It must be true. They're saying they were hurt. They're telling us these things. Oh my God, right? And it gets believed right away, or the crybullying wouldn't work. So they go and, if it doesn't work with the first person, they go to another person. But they wait until they find people are like lapping it up. Like,
just
oh my
like
God.
You did, Deb? Literally just like you did?
The more dramatic they make it, the more likely it is to be believed, strangely enough. And then rather than check, is this true? Did this, going back to the original person, did you really do this? Did you say this? Like, no skepticism, no curiosity. It's like, oh, this is so cool. It's like a drama. They gobble it up, and the immediate reaction is to turn on the person who is not even there. Not even there, usually, or being talked about behind their back. And,
so
and at
true.
no point did any of the people being cried to say, yeah, what? Did that really happen? Like, why should we believe you? We're friends with that person too. Like, isn't this something you should be talking to them about? Mm-hmm. This doesn't involve us. Yep. Why are you bringing this to us? What do you want us to do about it? Like, what are we supposed to do? Instead of doing that, they go all in. Oh, yes, you poor victim. And now why would they do that? Why does crybullying work? Where does this come from? Well, where does virtue come from these days? It comes from being a victim and giving and listening to a victim, including a victim, making a victim feel like they belong, embracing a victim, showing empathy for victims.
Doesn't Deb absolutely seem like she would never, ever, 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 ever be a raging Karen to anyone in her life? Doesn't Deb seem like she would never be a crybully in her life? Isn't she projecting just innocence and purity? Yeah. Yeah, Deb is saying that empathy is bad. No wonder her daughter ran away. She's raving like a Karen. She looks like she would call the police on you. Total Karen energy, Deb. This is Amber Heard in 20 years. Yup, Deb loved to call me Amber Heard, but in fact, no, that was the ironclad law of Deb projection.
Powerful thing you can be in America today is a victim. Did you know? I mean, what's a better way to get a bunch of people on your side to get all that power in a friend group? This person's really bad things happen. Now, don't hear me saying that bad things never happen to people. Don't hear me saying that everybody who goes crying to their friends is always a liar. But there's some telltale signs. What are they?
What are they, Deb?
You hear nothing from the other party. They're coming straight to you. You either weren't there, you didn't hear it yourself, you didn't see it yourself. It's all happened somewhere behind the scenes where you didn't see it. They don't come with any kind of evidence. They're not like, look what they did.
Yep.
And even if they do, there's no context. Like, it's like, look at this horrible thing they did, and you just blow right by what was the beginning of that conversation. You know, and like maybe that was after 2 hours of being.
Oh, so exactly like what you did to me, Deb, when you tried to steal my shit and claim it as your own. And then you went around telling everyone, Carlin's a big meanie because she called me out and I'm going to write this public letter. Deb wrote a whole 1.5-page statement denouncing me publicly. Carlin is a big meanie. Well, Deb, you tried to steal my shit. You stole from my community. You were emailing everyone and their mother trying to destroy everything that I was doing. Carlin is so mean to me. And if you work with Carlin, I'm going to denounce you too. And I'm going to destroy your work too. Yeah, Deb, you know what? Do you know who doesn't threaten to destroy someone's work? People who are like, people who are, only cry bullies do that, Deb. Only cry bullies will DM anyone that is following me, anyone that's interacting with me, anyone that's doing projects with me, anyone. Deb literally got pissed off at people retweeting me. Deb got pissed off that Jeff Charles was retweeting me. Deb got pissed off that Dan Kleinman was retweeting me. That was considered a gross offense against Deb. And she DM'd and said, yeah, how dare you retweet that? How dare you support her? I'm going to destroy you. And I have the receipts, Deb. You know I do. Deb is just annoyed that she got caught in the act of being a Karen because people were sick of her shit.
You know, whatever, harassed, and they come forth with something. So the point is, they just show up with a pretty serious accusation of harm or bullying or, you know, harassment or something like that. No evidence whatsoever. They just say it's happening with so much emotion.
It's a good thing I have screenshots that I have presented in previous streams, and if Deb wants to make this a federal issue, I will go back and find those screenshots again.
And so much certainty. And when you ask them if they tried to talk directly to the person to resolve it, they say things like, well, I tried, but they wouldn't listen, and they don't care, and that doesn't really align with what you know about the other person. Like, something doesn't fit. But here's the final test. So, no evidence. You ask them if they talk to the person, and they say things that sound out of character for the person they're talking about, because remember, you're friends with both. And the last one is the real kicker.
True.
When you tell them you don't want to get involved, when you tell them, like, I don't know, I'm going to stay out of it, you know, whatever, they either get mad at you and be like, fine, I guess you're not really a very loyal friend after all. Because after all, it's very reasonable for you to say you don't want to get involved.
That's literally what Deb did when she was DMing people demanding they denounce me. And people would say, Deb, I'm not going to get involved in this. And she'd be like, fuck you. I'm publicly denouncing you. And I'm telling everyone that you're a horrible person that is a pedophile apologist. That literally happened. Oh my God. Deb, we all know that you've done this. Deb is like 50-something years old. But she's still in high school.
Or when you say, why are you coming to me? I'm not involved. They do the same thing. So it's like, whether it's, I'm not involved, don't talk to me, or why are you coming to me? And they don't give you some like legitimate reason. I mean, there really isn't. Can you think of one? I can't think of one. Why they're coming to you and not the other person. You're all in a friend group together. And you might be saying, well, I don't get it. What if they need support? Whatever. Is that really the right group of people to go to for support? Mutual friends? If you have a group of mutual friends and you have a problem with one of them, why would you expect a large degree of support from those mutual friends? That person is imposing on you. They're saying, pick my side. Take my side in a dispute you're not party to, you weren't present for.
Like you did, Deb,
and you really
with,
don't even have any
dozens
evidence
of people
for. Like, you don't even know that it actually happened at all. So isn't that kind of an imposition to ask for your support? It is. Generally speaking, the bigger person thing to do is to seek that support outside the friend groups. Anybody else, parents, another friend who doesn't have the mutual friends. I mean, even random people on social media, like anybody for whom it would not be a selfish imposition to say, I want to put you in the middle of this dispute. I'm triangulating. Woe is me, pick my side. And if you don't, you're a big bad meanie, just like the person I'm complaining about. Somebody trying to triangulate with you is a bully. Direct, responsible, mature people don't do that.
We agree, Deb. Then why do I have dozens of screenshots of you literally doing everything that you're saying to me? Because normal people don't do this, Deb. Normal people don't do this. Yes. Isn't that funny? Deb sounds like she's very angry here. Deb sounds very triggered here. Now, we've watched a couple Deb videos, and generally this is her tone of voice. But she does seem to be a little triggered. Deb, did karma bite you in the ass recently in a way that we're not aware of yet? Here's what I'm wondering. Because Deb had this karma coming to her. If it hasn't happened yet, she still has it coming to her. Deb, is the reason that you're making this video about something that you have provably done to me for years? Is the reason that you're making this video that someone did this to you that we don't know about yet? Is the reason that you did this video that you ended up in a situation where someone did to you what you did to me for years? And now you're a little triggered by the fact that someone did to you what you did to me for years? Because this is a little unhinged, Deb. It really, I mean, look at Deb's face. Deb's about to growl. Obviously, there's something going on that we don't know about yet, but that we'll figure out eventually, Deb. Obviously, something is going on in Deb's life that maybe she's working out some feelings on the internet about, because this is just too angry. Deb is literally foaming at the mouth. I'm not going to forget about this, Deb. I'm going to figure this out. It's not going to take a lot of my energy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to figure this out. But I'm going to figure this out eventually, because I'm going to pay attention to your tweets. I'm going to pay attention to your replies, because I know you can't help yourself, Deb. You're going to tweet something eventually that's going to tell us what happened. And then I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to figure out who did it. And whoever did it is my new best friend. And we're going to have them on the channel and they're going to talk about it. Okay, maybe not that far. Maybe I'm not going to do that, but maybe I will. If the person who fucked Deb over wants to get in touch with me, I don't even care if I blocked you in the past. This is a message to whoever Deb is pissed off about. If you know me and you're watching this video because I'm posting a clip on the internet about exposing Deb Fillman for being an obvious cry bully, and you want to share whatever you did to Deb to cause this video to be made, you can DM me. Even and if I've banned you for some reason, figure out another way to get in touch with me. You can get in touch with someone. You can come by the chat and chat in. You can leave a comment. Give me a way to get in touch with you. I will keep you anonymous. You don't have to tell me your real name or anything. But if the person that caused Deb to make this video is out there and you want to talk about what happened, You let me know. If we've had beef in the past, it's water under the bridge. I don't care. Okay? I'm letting whatever it is, I'll let it go. If you can tell me why Deb is making this video, if anyone has any information, I want to know it. All right? I will make time for this.
They don't go behind the back of the person they have to dispute with, first of all, like ever. Okay? They go directly to that person. And to the extent that they do, they go to people totally outside the circle. Anyone coming inside the circle, you should immediately be suspect. Why me? Why us? Why are you telling us? Now, you might say, but what if they're trying to warn us because this person did something really horrible? Again, they'll have receipts. If they did something so awful that they're actually trying to prevent you guys from getting hurt,
Deb's going to have a heart attack.
They should have no problem providing receipts. Look here, they said this, they did that. They're like, oh, they hit me, that bruises, what? Okay. And if it's so dire, call the police. Don't go to your friend group. But that's not usually what happens. When cry bullying, it's just a triangulation. That's what cry bullying
now
is.
Deb looks like she's going to cry.
And I don't care
Why does
how
Deb look like she's
desperate
gonna
you are
cry?
to feel like a good person. Or I'm going to be there for my friend. That's not what being there looks like. If you genuinely care about people, you shouldn't want to enable them as they practice their manipulation techniques. And it is a manipulation technique. They're putting you in a bad spot, forcing you to make a choice, or at least go behind somebody's back and talk about them when they're not there, about things you weren't privy to. And they are trying not to resolve a problem with that other person, but to actually make the problem bigger, to spread it around, probably.
You don't say.
So that the person they have a dispute with has a problem, has a bigger problem.
You don't say, Deb.
They're actually trying to claim the friend group for themselves, which isn't very nice to you. If you're
Deb, you know what would be more productive than working out your feelings on the internet? Maybe you could just drive out into the woods and scream at whatever happened, because we're going to figure out what happened eventually. Maybe you could just, get it out the old-fashioned way. Not everything needs to be a video on the internet, Deb.
You're the one getting cried to. So don't be an enabler like that. It doesn't make you nice. It doesn't make you empathetic.
Hey, bot, we need you, and I'll send you a screenshot of this later. We need you to make a certificate for Stony Baloney for getting mentioned, for getting a mention from Jack Posobiec on his show. And I got a great screenshot I'm going to send you for it. Yes. Last night I was validated by Nick Rekieta's stream, and tonight I'm even further validated by Deb.
Okay? If you really care about the person, say, you need to go talk to that person, not to me. You need to resolve your issues with the person you have a dispute with, not to me. You're putting me in a tough spot. I don't want to make a choice.
Yeah, it's a good screenshot.
And I wasn't there, and I didn't see the information, and I'm not going to do it. Now, you might be asking, well, Deb, what if I do see evidence? What if somebody brings me hard evidence of abuse? I see text messages with, nasty abuse. I see all kinds of things, all kinds of stalker-level emails, blah, 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 blah. Then what should I do? Well, that's a totally different story, isn't it? I just said if you see evidence... If you ask for evidence and they go, yeah.
See, now Deb is talking about me because the person that started all this shit claimed I was stalking him for years when in fact what I was doing was trying to get him to act like an adult and to stop being ridiculous on the internet and to handle something in private that he was working out his feelings for 3 years on the internet publicly. And for that, I was accused of stalking. When he was talking about me all day, every day, doing all of this bullshit, releasing private messages, taking things out of context, twisting them to be things they didn't mean, doxing my friends, multiple of my friends, multiple times to get himself attention on the internet. And now he has no attention on the internet. And that must be very sad for him because he's a raging narcissist and he needs attention in order to live, which is why he's trying so very hard. The other day, he was just tweeting about me. I haven't spoken to this person in almost 3 years, maybe even more than that. I don't even know. But Deb claims that because I tried to handle the situation privately, she was stalking him, and this is proof she was stalking him. No, I wasn't. I was trying to handle the situation privately, which Deb doesn't understand.
Let me show you. I'm not trying to get you involved in something to like take my side. I'm like genuinely scared for my safety. I'm scared for your safety. This person is cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. Look what they did. Look at this. Look at that. Look at the other. Well, I mean, that's not cry bullying. Duh. That's just crying. That's like a cry for help. And then, of course, it's obvious. But it's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about big crocodile tears. I'm talking about I'm going to kill my love.
That's a reference to me. That's a reference to me.
And you don't see anything. And everything they're saying.
That's also a reference to me because when Deb and her friends were harassing me every day online it was about a year and a half of that stuff. I had to deal with it every fucking day. After they doxed my second friend to millions of views on the internet, I was like, fuck this shit. I can't do this anymore. And there was like a brief where I took a couple weeks off and I was really in a bad place because I was clinically depressed at this point. And I did a stream saying, I'm really having some bad thoughts. I'm not there anymore and no one needs to worry. But like at the time, it was really bad. But it was because of what Deb and her friends were doing to me. I mean, I think she's just an evil cunt. I don't know that she's a sociopath specifically, but she's an evil, self-righteous cunt that is out for herself and only out for herself. She doesn't care about any of this, really. All Deb wants is to be able to make money on the internet by being famous on the internet, and that's all she really cares about.
Is like wildly out of character for the person they're talking about. Because remember, you're mutual friends. I said it before. That's on you. That's on you to decide what happens next.
But I think someone did this to Deb.
Because if you play along with a crybaby, guess what you are? Yeah, you're a stooge. You're a flying monkey. You are gonna be on the receiving end.
Oh, look at that! If you play along with a cry bully, you are a stooge and a flying monkey. How many people in this chat had Deb literally call them a flying monkey? Did that happen to anyone that's here? I'm pretty sure it did. How many people in this chat had Deb literally call them a flying monkey because they wouldn't denounce me? Did that happen to anyone here? Yes, Tayton, this is exactly the point I'm making. Yeah, that's exactly what Deb calls my audience all the time. And sometimes Deb calls them that specifically by name because they want, like, they go after Bot all the time. Bot is like one of their number one targets because Bot is loyal to me and Bot will never leave me. And I know that. Yup, they called Nick a flying monkey. Yup. Uh-huh. It just really seems, Deb, like this is all coming from somewhere. Huh.
Cry bullying one of these days, or you're going to become a cry bully yourself. You're going to become an agent of the bully. There's really no two ways about it. You don't get to be Switzerland. If you are in a situation where cry bullying is going on and you are part of the triangle that they're coming to and asking for support, and you play along thinking I can be friends with both people, I can be neutral, I'm here to tell you you can't.
And that is how Deb justifies emailing people saying, if you don't denounce Carlin, I'm going to destroy you because you are taking her side. And that means you are an accomplice and a flying monkey to the cry bullying. And therefore, because you're not taking my side, you are taking the wrong side and you are an agent of the cry bully. And therefore, I'm going to denounce you publicly and I'm going to make sure everyone knows that you are an agent and a flying monkey of the cry bully. Literally, Deb, you fucking did this. We all know you did this. You did this to some of the people in the fucking chat. I don't think that's a good idea. See, Gloria, it's all for the best. Just stay on Instagram.
That's not going to last because the person who's been gossiped about and accused of something they didn't do isn't going to trust you if you stay friends with that person. They're not going to trust you. Why would they? That person, the cry bully, is effectively bullying them. They're trying to poison your friendship. What is the basis of your relationship with the cry bully now? Providing validation for their fantasy that they're a victim. That's the basis of your friendship.
Gloria's doing great slime videos.
Okay. So they're not going to trust you. And the person who cried to you and is expecting your validation is never going to, it's a bottomless pit of need.
Wait, really? Deb just posted something at 5:55 p.m. about an 8th grader talking about queer liberation and tagged James, Logan, and others, but only screenshots and just calling it meet your worst nightmare. We'll look at that in a second, Angel, rather. Thank you. Gloria does make slime. She makes homemade slime, and then she posts videos about it.
Going to need constant reassurance that you support them and not the other person. They're not going to let you be friends with both. That's why they started this, to end your friendship with the first person. So you're either going to end up joining them in finding fault with this person to make yourself feel better about what you're doing. That's the most common thing that I see happening, especially with teenagers. It's like, well, you were mean to her. Well, she didn't like it. Well, she cried. The outcome is that her feelings are hurt. You must have done something wrong. Context drop, doesn't matter. So you can still feel good about yourself. That doesn't make you a good person. Actually makes you pretty much of a shit. And you're no better than the crybaby.
Yep.
And this person isn't going to trust you anymore, even if you manage to pull it all off. So why do it? I'm not suggesting you choose this person. Maybe you choose to get out of the friend group at all. I'm just telling you. There's no good outcome. There's no neutral with a crybaby.
You don't do what I want you to do. I'm going to denounce you, okay?
Or you end up not in their friend group. And count your lucky stars. Because it will be you eventually, unless you literally become one of them. It's contagious. So anyway,
correct, Deb. We don't trust you, Deb.
That is the most common relational bullying today.
You're not
especially
trustworthy.
Amongst teenagers, but also amongst adults. But it's really prevalent amongst teenagers.
You're talking about yourself, Deb. We know that.
When they listen to a crybaby.
Yep.
And it's absolutely toxic.
We know.
It's poisonous. Please advise your children to think about these issues and learn about triangulation and manipulation, because it's happening every single day.
All right. Thank you, Deb, for that enlightening video about everything that you did to me that you now don't want responsibility for. And again, I think that Deb posted that because someone's done it to her. And I'm going to figure out who. I'm going to figure out what happened. And it's entirely possible that Deb could be pulling the same op with someone else right now that she pulled on me. Because once you do it one time, you're going to do it again. And I'm going to figure this out, Deb. I'm not going to fucking forget about this. In fact, let's just take a quick gander at Deb's Twitter. Deb thinks she blocked my sock account the other day, but no, Deb, I have like 8,000 sock accounts. Deb, Israeli flag in the profile. Israeli flag in the profile, because of course. Let's see. Oh, she's retweeting James Lindsay, blah, blah, blah. Here's what Angel Eyes was saying. Meet your worst nightmare. What's this? What is queer liberation? Queer liberationists believe in anti-assimilation, celebrating what our community different rather than acting as if we're not queer. Building queer community through organizing and mutual aid. Organizing and mutual aid are socialist things. Uplifting queer art, taking an intersectional, anti-hierarchical stance. That means against capitalism, because they believe capitalism is the ultimate hierarchy. Towards queer social movements. For many queer people, including myself, anarchism is a necessary part of queer liberation. Oh, this is an anarcho-communist that's going to be involved in all the anarcho-communist literature that Deb doesn't know about. As long as violence and domination exist, that means capitalism, they will repress queer people and force us into assimilation. Queer liberationist goals is to build solidarity, that means comrades, within the queer community and dismantle cis heteropatriarchy capitalism in the prefigurative sense rather than simply passing laws or changing minds. Oh, look, queer core a punk revolution. So she's deep in the queer anarchist movement. Does Deb mention any of that? Does Deb even know about that? No. Let's see, what else? What else has Deb been doing? Let's look in the replies. Guys, just in case you don't know, you can look in the replies on Twitter, and they're honestly usually more useful for figuring people out than the actual tweets, because the replies are where people show their true colors. Let's see if Dev's been doing anything interesting. Oh, she's basically just retweeting James Lindsay. This is a show that Deb does with the narcissist that will not be named. Because Deb is his only friend now. Let's see. All right, it looks like Deborah isn't really up to anything interesting. Oh, there it is. What is a cry bully? Oh, he's a cry bully. See Deb Fillman. What is this about? My favorite part of this article, written by Jeremy Jojola, is how he says it was one mean tweet someone put out that ended his Twitter career, when in reality he was a toxic person harassing and doxing people he hated, like Forest Mommy rules. Deb shilling her cry bully video. Oh, look at this. This is Deb's. This is the perfect place to end on. This is Deb's understanding of the left. That trans people are afraid of a biology book, that communists are afraid of an economics book, that BLM people are afraid of a statistics book, and that pro-Palestine people are afraid of a history book. This is Deb's expert opinion about the far left. This is it. Right here. In a nutshell. Does everyone know? Everyone understands why this is dumb, right? Because queer and trans people are not afraid of biology books, communists are not afraid of economics books, BLM people are not afraid of statistics books, and pro-Palestine protesters are not afraid of history books. It has nothing to do with any of that. They're all just against capitalism. That's it. That's it. It's a dumb meme. Yeah. Also, there's no understanding that these are all the same. No recognition at all that these are all the same people.